today, like, we talk about the birds in the air and the fish in the sea, and it's going to be totally righteous. Let's illuminate together. Roll title card. If you want a flash production, then the show is not for you. Welcome, Illuminators. Today, we are going to talk about the lower order life forms, a lot of our food or animal chain food, and to try to lighten the conversation topic, I wore my beach shirt. See, it's the beach colors. Rock on, party, right? Today, we read from Genesis 1, verses 20 through 23, and this is the 5th day of creation. This is the Thursday of creation, all right? So we are really just getting into like animals being full life forms and blooping and blooping and blooping around the world. Those are fish. Yeah. Just show me your grace. Lend me your fin. Okay. Let's get into the text. Ready? And thank you for showing me grace as I do my best to read this dramatically. Then God said, "Let the waters swarm and abundantly produce living creatures, and let birds soar above the earth in the open expanse of the heavens." God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarmed according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good, and he affirmed, and he sustained it. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful, multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the 5th day. So, here we are. We've got two expanses of spiritual space in the poetry. This is where God's breath exists in the form of oxygen. Birds can fly in that spirit, and we can't, which is kind of uncool, but hey, God gave us brains and a couple of cool inventors, right? So now we can fly across the planet. But a long time ago, when this poetry was written, the birds existed in a spiritual space where we can only dream of going. And they often became spiritual totems in our lives. A crow could mean bad luck, or a sparrow could mean good luck. In this text, the dove will be integral to helping Noah find dry land, right? There's so many cool things we can do with birds. And there's so many different types of birds. Frightening birds, birds that we eat. And that's an important thing to know. Birds are part of the food chain. They're often at the end of some other animal, bigger animal than them, their diet. Like, yeah, sometimes a bird becomes another animal's hamburger. That's in the next day. But today, we get to just delight in their majesty, and they're in their own paradise of just having a lot of bird babies. Meanwhile, deep under the water, where mermaids hide. Well, mermaids aren't ever a thing, but here we can create a myth that they do, because it's a dark place. It's a mystery place. In many ways, it represents our subconscious. And that's kind of a fancy way of the things that we don't naturally think of. Like, I can think of picking up this pad of paper or this book before I do it, but doing it instinctively is what we call a subconscious thought. You just naturally do it. And fish teach us something about how our subconscious works. Are we the kind of people that where we think under our thoughts that we need to be a part of the school of fish, and we feel more comfortable in a bigger crowd? Are we the ones that like to hide, like clownfish in a coral that zaps people, right? Another living organism? Are we a starfish that just bloop, bloop? Right? What kind of person are we deep underneath? What person are we diving under for seconds at a time to learn about ourselves? And this often represents as we get older and we learn more about how our social structures work, as we have to enter literal school, right? As we have to become a school that I remember lining up, right? Have you lined up for the next class? It's the school of fish. And you're learning good things, right? About the sharks. And we don't want to be the sharks. We want to be the sharks that look at fish as our friends, right? Well, all of these things add up to the building blocks of life. They become integral for what comes next. And that is the the space for where conscious life can live. It's these gardens that God is already kind of forming in creation where, like I said, his Holy Spirit drives fish to work in schools and angelfish and things like that, right? All of these are going to be challenged by what can happen on the earth. So in the same way we progressed from wind, the air, where the Spirit hovered and motivated over the waters to the waters, we're going through that same sequence. We're filling the air first and the water because the land came second, right? Or, well, not second, but after all that. And so we're following the same movement of this kind of mature progression of understanding that the poem has already established. And that's what's so cool about this, is that it is just giving us that idea of cycles of growth and understanding, and we're building those mighty trees. And tomorrow, I keep hinting it because that's the 6th day. That's when his beloved sons and daughters are created. All right. Until next time, Illuminators, this is just your humble narrator reminding you that you are loved so much that he didn't make you a fish.